Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss a topic, transpiration. Transpiration. Okay. So the transpiration is defined as it is the loss of water in the form of vapor vapor through the aerial part of the plant. Through the aerial part of the plant is known as the transpiration. Or we can also say that the loss of water from the living tissue. The loss of water from the living tissue of aerial parts of a plant in the form of water vapors. Okay, it is known as the transpiration. Okay, so the transpiration is defined as the loss of water in the form of vapors through the aerial part of the plant, or the loss of water from the living tissue of aerial part of the plant in the form of water vapors. Okay, the plant, it absorbs the lot of water through the root system. Okay, root system, it absorbs the lot of water. But out of that, only 1 to 2% of water it is utilized. Okay, only 1 to 2% of water it is utilized for the metabolic purpose. The metabolic purpose means what? That means the different life activities which are carried out inside the plant. Okay, जे वेगवेगळे मेटाबॉलिक ऍक्टिव्हिटीज घडतात, तर ह्या मेटाबॉलिक ऍक्टिव्हिटीज साठी लागणारं जे वॉटर आहे, किंवा फॉर एक्झाम्पल it is in the photosynthesis, it is utilized in the photosynthesis or in the photolysis of water for construction of the food. Okay, for example it is. So there are the number of metabolic processes, and all these metabolic processes, these are carried out inside the cytoplasm. So only 1 to 2% of total absorbed water it is utilized by the plant. Okay, and the remaining water, that is the remaining water, it is the remaining, that is 80 to 90% of water, or the remaining water it is lost in the form of vapor, loss in vapor form. Okay, loss in the form of vapors, and this loss of water in the vapor form through the aerial system. Okay, through the aerial part is known as the transpiration. Okay, so it is recorded that the number of the plant, for example the plant like Helianthus anus or the sunflower. Okay, so sunflower plant, during its growing period, that means 3 to 4 months growing period, it releases 56 kg of water. Okay, from single plant of the sunflower, it loses it loses the 56 kg of water through its growing season. एका growing season मध्ये एक झाड जवळपास 56 kg इतकं water लॉस करतं. ओके, इन केस ऑफ द मेजच्या बाबतीमध्ये जर आपण या ठिकाणी पाहिलं, तर या ठिकाणी releases the gallons of the water किंवा या ठिकाणी barrel of water in its few life. Gallons of the barrel of water in few weeks life. In the life of few weeks, it loses the barrel of the water. Okay, so number of such records they are there, the beech trees etc., or the beech maple forest tree. Okay, the beech and maple, this plants forest with near about 400 to 600 trees, they loses in the water or the evaporates near about 20,000 liters of water or 20,000 barrels of water. 20,000 barrels of water per day. ओके, म्हणजे बीच आणि मॅपलचं प्लांट असलेले 400 ते 600 झाड असलेलं बीच मॅपलचं फॉरेस्ट हे पर डे जवळपास 20,000 लिटर एवढं पाणी त्या ठिकाणी वेपर फॉर्म मध्ये बाहेर टाकतं. सो दीज आर द रेकॉर्ड्स. ओके, हाऊ मच वॉटर इट इज लुजेस in the form of vapor through the plant, and out of that only 1 to 2% it is utilized by the plant in the different metabolic processes. Okay, so the loss of water in vapor form from the aerial part of the plant body, it is known as the transpiration. Okay, so this loss of water, it was shown by the experiment. It is not purely the physical phenomenon, but it is the vital phenomenon. Vital phenomenon means it is takes place through the living tissue. Living tissue मधून हा घडतो, म्हणून हा एक vital phenomenon आहे, फक्त simple physical phenomenon नाहीये. Okay, and this process, this transpiration is controlled by the living cell. Okay, and it is demonstrated by an experiment, and that experiment was the bell jar experiment. Okay, it is the glass bell jar. So inside that jar a pot is kept. Okay, the pot is kept, that soil is wetted. Okay, and then it is covered with the rubber or the plastic, fully covered, and only keep the plant it is open. Okay, so this plant, it is water, this soil is water. Okay, and then it is sealed with the plastic or rubber. It is the glass bell shaped jar. Okay, and it is this jar, it is kept on a surface. Okay, so a plant that having the leaves on it. Okay, so through that leaves the transpiration takes place. Okay, हे हा जो बेल जार आहे, तर ह्या बेल जार मध्ये काय केलेलं आहे, या ठिकाणी इथे एक या ठिकाणी पॉट ठेवलेलं आहे. ठीक आहे, आणि ते पॉट मधले पाणी जे आहे, तर माती जी आहे, तर त्या ठिकाणी त्याला पाणी दिलेलं आहे. पण या ठिकाणी ही एक्सेप्ट दिस प्लांट, प्रत्येक हा जो भाग आहे ह्या पॉटचा, तर तो काय केलेला आहे, सील केलेला आहे रबरनी किंवा प्लास्टिकने. का म्हणून, कारण ह्या भागातून पाणी त्या ठिकाणी लॉस होऊ नये म्हणून. So to avoid the loss of water through the pot, okay, it is sealed with the rubber or the plastic. Then what happened, after some time the water droplets they observe on the bell jar. Okay, या बेल जार वर त्या ठिकाणी त्यांना काय दिसून आलं, there are the water droplets they accumulated on the bell jar. So these water droplets which are released here or they are appeared here, there it is the loss of water in the form of vapor through that plant. Okay, so by this experiment it is shown that the loss of water from the aerial part of the plant body takes place, and that phenomenon of loss of water in the form of vapor is get accumulated in the bell jar in the form of water droplets. So it is this phenomenon of loss of water in the form of vapor is known as the transpiration. Okay, so through the this transpiration experiment, it is shown or it is demonstrated by using the bell shaped jar experiment or bell jar experiment. Okay, then there are the types of the transpiration. The types of transpiration. types of transpiration. So that there are the three different types of the transpiration. There are the transpiration is takes place through the aerial part of the plant body. So it is mostly takes place through the leaves. Mostly it is takes place through the leaves. Okay, as well as it takes place through the stem, flowers, fruits. So all these aerial parts of the plant body. So there are the three different types of the transpiration. The number one, that is known as the cuticular transpiration. Cuticular transpiration. The cuticular transpiration means what? So when we take a TS of leaf, so this TS of leaf, it's shown that this epidermis, it is this outer and the outer epidermis of the stem, or the upper and lower epidermis of the leaf. They are covered with a thick waxy coating, and this waxy coating, it is means by the cutin, it is by the substance cutin, and it is known as the cuticle. Okay, so it is observed that when the plants they grow in the high light intensity, so that shows the thick type of the cuticles. Okay, thick cuticle. But when the plant is grown in the shady condition, it has the thin cuticle. So it is impervious. This cuticle is impervious to water. Therefore, it is to avoid the loss of water. Okay, it is to avoid the loss of water. म्हणजे या ठिकाणी वॉटरचा लॉस त्याच्यामधून होऊ नये म्हणून या ठिकाणी वॉटरचं impervious असलेलं, impervious means it is a substance which do not allow water pass through it. ओके, म्हणजे हा वॉटरला त्याच्यामधून जाऊ देत नाही म्हणून या ठिकाणी क्युटिकल थिक. पण या ठिकाणी हे क्युटिकलच्या बाबतीमध्ये जर बघितलं आपण, तर त्या ठिकाणी देअर आर द प्लेट्स ऑफ दिस सबस्टन्स ऑफ द cuticle. Okay, there are such plates of this cuticle, or sometimes there may show the cracks in the cuticle. So through that cracks, the water vapors it get lost. Okay, through that cracks, the water vapor it get lost. So this cuticle, it is in the form of plates. Okay, and the crack through that plates, or cracks which are present in that plates, through that cracks, the water loss takes place. So that is known as the cuticular transpiration. Okay, so the cuticular transpiration is inversely proportional to the thickness of the cuticle. Okay, the cuticular transpiration is this cuticular transpiration is inversely proportional to the thickness of the cuticle. To the thickness of cuticle. Okay, that means if the cuticle is more thick, there is a less cuticular transpiration. When there is a thick cuticle, there is a more cuticular transpiration. So they are inversely proportional. It shows that inversely proportional relationship. Okay, so this cuticle, it is present in herbaceous stem, flower parts, fruit parts, or in the other leaves and the other parts of the plants. Okay, so this cuticular transpiration, it may be 10 to 20% only. That means if the transpiration is considered 100%, so out of that only 10 to 20% of transpiration is takes place through the cuticle. So it is known as the cuticular transpiration. Okay, then the second that is the lenticular transpiration. Lenticular transpiration. The lenticular transpiration means what? The lenticular means it is the transpiration takes place through the lenticels. Lenticels. The lenticels means what? On the stem, particularly on the woody stem, or the large trees, or the epidermis, when there is a secondary growth, after the secondary growth, the epidermis of the stem is replaced by the bark, or we can say that cork. Okay, it is replaced by bark or the cork. So it is the dead tissue. Okay, so the epidermis, the stomata which are present on the epidermis, it shows the slit. It shows the slit. Okay, slit means what? It is the opening which are present on the stem. So that is the stomata. So it is replaced by the opening, and this opening, it has the loosely arranged cells in it. Okay, so it is the bark, or it is the outermost cells which are known as the peridome. Okay, it is known as the peridome, or it is known as the epidermal cell, which is replaced by the peridome. Okay, then there are the some loosely arranged cells which are present just below that slit. ओके, जिथे स्टोमॅटा होता त्या स्टोमॅटाच्या जागी तिथे काय झालं, एक स्लिट. स्लिट म्हणजे ओपनिंग अशी त्या ठिकाणी. तर या ठिकाणी याला काय म्हणायचं, इट इज नोन ॲज द lenticel. Okay, so this lenticel, it is present, it is the slit in the bark of the woody plants. Okay, and this slit, it is filled with the loosely arranged cells, and these loosely arranged cells, they are known as the complementary cells. Complementary cells. Okay, so just below that complementary cells, there are the different, there are the layers of the cork cells. Okay, there are the layer of cork cells. These cork cells, they are the cells developed due to the peridome. That means the epidermis, it is replaced by the peridome. Okay, it is replaced by the peridome. So this peridome, it is the cork tissue. Okay, this peridome, it is the cork tissue. Okay, these are the cortical cells. Okay, so this epidermis, it is replaced by this peridome. Peridome, or it is also known as the bark. Okay, so the stomata which are present on the epidermis, it get replaced by the lenticel, and at the region of this slit, or at the region of this opening, or at the end of this lenticel, there are number of loosely arranged cells, that is known as the complementary cells, and through that complementary cells, or through that lenticel, there is the loss of water vapors. Okay, the loss of water vapors. So this transpiration, transpiration means the loss of water vapor, okay, through the aerial part of the plant body. So this water vapors, they lost through that lenticel. So it is known as the lenticular transpiration. It is known as the lenticular transpiration. Okay, these are the cork cells or the peridome, complementary cells, and it is the opening that is known as the lenticel. So the lenticular transpiration is very less. That means it is near about 0.1%, and the cuticular is 10 to 20%. Similarly, it is only 0.1%. Okay. Then there is the third type of transpiration, and that third type of transpiration is known as the stomatal transpiration. So the stomatal transpiration is the maximum part of the transpiration. Okay. So the third type of transpiration is the stomatal transpiration. Stomatal transpiration. We know that there are the different types of the plants. There may be the monocot plant, there may be the dicot plant, okay, there may be the aquatic plant. So there are the different types of the plants they are present. So according to that the stomatal condition they changes. In the monocot, the equal number of stomata they are present on both the surface. Okay, equal number of stomata on both the surface of the leaf. In dicot, the more stomata, it is present on the lower epidermis, and the less on upper epidermis. Okay, upper epidermis. Then in the aquatic plant, when the aquatic plants they are submerged type, that means they present below the water. It may be the vestigial. Vestigial means it is only the symptom that their stomata is present there. म्हणजे तिथे फक्त स्टोमॅटा होता असं फक्त दिसतंय, त्याची साईन आहे, पण स्टोमॅटा हा क्लोज्ड आहे, कम्प्लीट परमनंटली क्लोज. सो वेस्टिजियल और इफ इट इज द फ्री फ्लोटिंग. ओके, म्हणजे वर सरफेसला तरंगणारे जर असतील तर त्या ठिकाणी ओनली ऑन द अप्पर सरफेस, ओनली ऑन द अप्पर सरफेस. ओके, जर फ्री फ्लोटिंग जर असेल त्या ठिकाणी वॉटर सरफेसवर तरंगणारे तर त्या ठिकाणी काय असतं, तर या ठिकाणी ते फक्त अप्पर सरफेसला स्टोमॅटा असतो. आणि सबमर्ज्ड जर असतील तर सबमर्ज्ड म्हणजे या ठिकाणी बिनीथ द वॉटर. सबमर्ज्ड मीन्स बिनीथ द वॉटर, बिनीथ ऑर द बिलो द वॉटर. वॉटरच्या खाली जर असतील तर त्या ठिकाणी काय होतं ते सबमर्ज, आणि तिथे मग त्या ठिकाणी वेस्टिजियल टाईपचं. तर असे या ठिकाणी आपल्याला वेगवेगळ्या प्रकारचे मोनोकॉटमध्ये, डायकॉटमध्ये किंवा ॲक्वॅटिकमध्ये वेगवेगळ्या प्रकारे आपल्याला या ठिकाणी स्टोमॅटा जो येतो दिसत असतो. तर जनरली या ठिकाणी आपण जर टोटल लीफ एरिया जर पाहिलं, टेरिस्ट्रियल प्लांट जर आपण पाहिलं तर या ठिकाणी त्याच्यावर साधारणपणे तर या ठिकाणी 12% ऑफ लीफ एरिया, 12% of leaf area it is occupied by the stomata. Okay, stomata मध्ये 12% नियर अबाउट म्हणजे जेवढा टोटल एरिया त्याचा 12% एरिया हा फक्त स्टोमॅटाने ऑक्युपाय केलेला असतो. मग या ठिकाणी इतका जर भाग त्या ठिकाणी स्टोमॅटाने ऑक्युपाय केलेला असेल तर मग या ठिकाणी मॅक्झिमम त्या ठिकाणी ट्रान्सपिरेशन या ठिकाणी कुणातून होणार आहे, तर स्टोमॅटल ट्रान्सपिरेशन होणार आहे. म्हणजे स्टोमॅटल ट्रान्सपिरेशन जे आहे तर हे किती होतं, तर या ठिकाणी इट इज नियर अबाउट 80 to 90%, 80 to 90% of total transpiration is takes place only through the stomata. Stomata means what? It is the opening or pore which is present on the leaf surface or the stem of the flower or the fruit. Okay, so fruit generally it has a lenticule. Fruit वर generally lenticule असतं, पण या ठिकाणी फ्लावर्सवर किंवा स्टेमवर ग्रीन असेल स्टेम तोपर्यंत किंवा मग लीफवर या ठिकाणी जो असतो तो स्टोमॅटा किंवा ओपनिंग. आणि मग या ठिकाणी आपण पुढे त्या ठिकाणी स्टोमॅटाचं स्ट्रक्चर पाहणार आहोत. तर या ठिकाणी 80 to 90% ऑफ वॉटर लॉस टेक्स प्लेस थ्रू द स्टोमॅटा. ओके, सो इट इज नोन एज द स्टोमॅटल ट्रान्सपिरेशन. सो वेअर इट टेक्स प्लेस, तर या ठिकाणी आपण जर या ठिकाणी एक फिगर त्या ठिकाणी ते आपण ड्रॉ करतोय, मुद्दाम आपण अर्धवट ठेवली ती जागा. ओके, सो here it is the epidermis. Okay, it is the epidermis on which the cuticle is present. Then below the epidermis, okay, there is the presence of palisade tissue. This palisade tissue, it may be one or two layer and which contains chlorophylls in them. Okay, which contains chlorophylls in them. So it is palisade tissue. This palisade tissue, it may be one or two layer. It contains the green chlorophylls. So it may be one or it is elongated. Okay, this palisade tissue is elongated. Okay, then below that palisade tissue, okay, there are the spongy tissues are present or loosely arranged cells are present. So it is known as the spongy layer. Okay, it is known as the spongy layer, or it is also known as the spongy tissue. Okay, it is known as the spongy tissue. So this spongy tissue, okay, they are in contact with the lower epidermis, and on the lower epidermis maximum number of stomata are present. It is the cuticle, and so these are the stomatas. These are the stomata. Okay. So this cells, they also contain the chloroplast. So these also contain the chloroplast in them. So the transpiration which takes place through the few number of stomata, they are also present on the upper epidermis. Okay. Okay, so it is the structure. So they through this stomata, it is also the stomata. So through the cuticle, the cuticular transpiration takes place. This cuticular transpiration is 10 to 20%, and through the stomata it is about 80 to 90% of the transpiration takes place through the stomata. So these are the substomatal chambers which are present very near to the stomata. So through that the water vapors, they get lost through that stomata. So it is known as the stomatal transpiration. Okay. So there are the three different types of the transpiration: cuticular transpiration, lenticular transpiration, and the stomatal transpiration. Cuticular transpiration means it is takes place through the cuticle. It is near about 10 to 20%. Lenticular means it is through the when the epidermis is replaced by opening, that is known as the lenticule, which is present in the bark of the stem or large woody tree. So through that the lenticular transpiration takes place, which is very less, that is it is 0.1% only, and the stomatal transpiration, it is near about 80 to 90%. Okay, so it is takes place through the stomata. So it is the stomatal transpiration, cuticular transpiration, and lenticular transpiration. Okay, lenticular transpiration, it is the It is the lenticular. So the lenticular transpiration. Cuticular, lenticular and stomatal transpiration. Okay. Now the structure of now the significance of the transpiration. Significance of transpiration. This transpiration is known as inevitable devil. It is known as inevitable devil. So, or unavoidable. This transpiration is unavoidable. So, why it is known as unavoidable or inevitable devil? There is a cause that we cannot separate. We cannot separate or we cannot remove the transpiration from the plant. Okay, we cannot remove. It is from the uh, plant. That means without the transpiration, okay, without the transpiration the life will not survive. So it is the most important thing. Okay, so it is known as inevitable devil. Devil म्हणजे राक्षस. ओके, आणि जर असा राक्षस आहे की जो या ठिकाणी नाही आला तरी प्लांटची डेथ होईल आणि जास्त प्रमाणात आला तरी प्लांटची डेथ होईल. ओके, सो this transpiration, it has certain advantages and disadvantages. Okay, so first of all, the advantages or significant advantages of this transpiration. So it influences the absorption of water and minerals. First of all, it influences the absorption of water and minerals. Absorption of water and minerals. Okay, from the root. So it is the first significance. It influences the absorption of water and minerals by the root. The second, it helps in ascent of sap. It helps in ascent of sap. Ascent of sap. Ascent of sap means what? The upward movement of water and minerals through the xylem. That is known as the ascent of sap. We already discussed about the ascent of sap. So it helps in ascent of sap by creating a suction pressure. By creating a suction pressure. By creating a suction pressure in the form of transpiration pool. In the form of transpiration pool. Okay. Then the third, the transpiration pool, we already discussed about the mechanism of ascent of sap. In that, what is meant by the transpiration pool? The transpiration pool means due to the continuous transpiration, it creates a suction pressure in the mesophyll and it creates a tension. That tension transfers from leaf xylem to stem xylem to root xylem. Okay, and it creates a continuous pool of the water, and so that pool is known as the transpiration pool. So this transpiration, it helps in ascent of sap. ओके, त्या ठिकाणी हा काय करतो? सक्शन प्रेशर, ओढून घेण्याचं, पाणी ओढून घेण्याचं त्या ठिकाणी प्रेशर क्रिएट करतो आणि त्याच्यामुळे ट्रान्सपिरेशन पूल तयार होतो. and due to that ascent of sap takes place. Okay, then it plays important role in translocation of solutes. Okay, it helps to maintain the most important point. It helps helps to maintain the temperature of the plant. This helps to maintain temperature of plant. Okay, we know that plant continuously standing in the light and the dark. Okay, during the daytime it is continuously in the sunlight. Okay, due to that high, that means the plant continuously exposes to the high temperature. Okay, plant continuously exposes to the high temperature, and due to that it may cause death of the plant, or it may be the wilting, or it may increases the temperature of the water, and it may cause the boiling of the cell sap, but it not happens. Okay, it is not happen. So why it is not happen? Because the maximum heat, it is escape out through the water vapors from the plant body, and therefore it helps to maintain the temperature of the plant body. So it is the most important thing. It helps to maintain the temperature of the plant. Then it helps in opening and closing of stomata. Opening and the closing of stomata. Okay, it helps in opening and closing of the stomata, and therefore it affects, or it influences indirectly the photosynthesis and respiration. Photosynthesis and the respiration. ओके, म्हणजे या ठिकाणी जर ओपनिंग आणि क्लोजिंग ऑफ स्टोमॅटा झाला तर त्या ठिकाणी O2 CO2 त्या ठिकाणी आत बाहेर होतील ते वेपर्समुळे त्या स्टोमॅटामधून, आणि त्याच्यामुळे आपल्याला माहिती आहे फोटोसिंथेसिससाठी कार्बन डायऑक्साईड लागतं, रेस्पिरेशनसाठी ऑक्सिजन. तर ते आत बाहेर त्या ठिकाणी आत जाऊ शकले, येऊ शकले तरच फोटोसिंथेसिस आणि रेस्पिरेशन होणार आहे. म्हणून या ठिकाणी इनडायरेक्टली त्या ठिकाणी हा जो ट्रान्सपिरेशन आहे ते ओपनिंग अँड क्लोजिंग ऑफ स्टोमॅटा त्या ठिकाणी घडतं, आणि त्याच्यामुळे इट हेल्प्स indirectly in the photosynthesis and the respiration. Okay, then the transpiration is dangerous and unavoidable. The transpiration, there may be a short note on this article. Explain the transpiration. The transpiration is dangerous and unavoidable. Okay, so this process, transpiration process, is unavoidable. Okay, that means if the transpiration does not serve any good purpose in the life, plant will not take place. Okay, or the life will not conduct. जर त्या ठिकाणी पाणी ऍब्सॉर्बच झालं, जर ट्रान्सपिरेशनच झालं नाही तर वॉटर ऍब्सॉर्ब होणार नाही. वॉटर ऍब्सॉर्ब झालं नाही तर प्लांटमध्ये त्या ठिकाणी पाणी येणार नाही, मेटाबॉलिक प्रोसेस होणार नाही, आणि मग त्या ठिकाणी प्लांटची त्या ठिकाणी डेथ होऊ शकते. And so it is the transpiration, it is most important thing, that is it is unavoidable. Okay, it is unavoidable. So due to the presence of stomata water and water permeable membranes, so through that stomata and water permeable membrane, there is exchange of gases takes place through that, and therefore transpiration, it is unavoidable. Okay, but it is necessary also, because it helps to maintain the temperature of the body as well as to maintain the transpiration pool, and therefore it helps in absorption of water, and it also avoids the injury of the plant due to the high temperature. Okay, and therefore it is unavoidable. But when the soil is dry, okay, dry weather or hot temperature, in that case the plant, if there is excess transpiration, it may cause the death of the plant. When there is a in dry condition or in the very hot or hot condition, if the transpiration is excess, then it causes death of the plant, and therefore it is inevitable and unavoidable devil. म्हणजे या ठिकाणी हा असा दैत्य आहे जो जीव त्या प्लांटच्या जीवनामध्ये येणं अत्यंत गरजेचं आहे. तो जास्तीचा आला तर प्लांटची डेथ होईल, तो नाही आला तरी प्लांटची डेथ होईल. म्हणून हा डेंजरस पण तितकाच आहे आणि अनअवॉइडेबल पण त्या ठिकाणी आहे. ओके, नाउ the structure of stomata. Now the structure of stomata. Okay, so when we study the structure of the stomata is a minute elliptical pore. Elliptical म्हणजे काय की लंबगोल असं. So it is the elliptical pore or opening. So the single opening is known as the stoma. Okay, and the number of openings or number of stoma, they are known as the stomata. So this stoma or this opening, it is guarded by the guard cells. Okay, it is guarded by the two bean shaped or kidney shaped guard cells. Okay, these two kidney shape or bean shaped guard cells. So these guard cells, they have the thick inner wall. These two bean shaped cells or kidney shaped cells, they have the thick inner wall, and this cell, they have the nucleus in it. Okay, they have the nucleus, then they have the chloroplast as well as the cytoplasm. Okay, as well as there is a central large vacuole in them. Okay, they have the central large vacuoles in them, and the chloroplast, they also present. Okay, so these vacuoles, they are also filled with the cell sap. Okay, they are also filled with the cell sap. So, or we will draw slightly different. Okay, these are the inner wall of the guard cells. To bean shape guard cells. Okay, these guard cells, they have the central large vacuole in them. They have the central large vacuole in them. They have the prominent nucleus. Okay, as well as the peripheral, then cytoplasm, as well as the chloroplast in them. And in the center, a large vacuole which is filled with the cell sap. Okay. So it is okay. So it is the cytoplasm. It is the stoma. These two are the guard cells. Okay, it is the nucleus. Okay, it is this one is the central vacuole. It is the central. It is the central vacuole. Then these are the chloroplast. Chloroplast. These cells, these are the chloroplast. Okay, it is the central vacuole. Guard cells. Then it is the inner thick wall. Inner thick wall. Okay. Then the outer wall is thin. Thin outer wall. Okay. And now it has some surrounding cells, and these surrounding cells, they are known as the subsidiary cells. Okay. Subsidiary or the surrounding cells. Then surrounding to the subsidiary cells, there may be the epidermal cells. Okay, there may be the epidermal cells surrounding to the subsidiary cells. So these are the epidermal cells. Okay, so it is the structure of the stomata. Okay, it is the structure of stomata. So in the transpiration, this stomata, it plays most important role. Okay, so in the next lecture we will discuss about the mechanism of opening and closing of the stomata. So the number of workers, they put forth the different theories about the opening and closing of the stomata, and this opening and closing of the stomata is most related thing or related phenomenon with the transpiration. Okay, so when the transpiration, when the stomata is open, more transpiration. When stomata is closed, there is a less transpiration. So how the stomata open and how the stomata close, so there are different theories, they are studied under the mechanism of opening and closing of stomata. We will see it in the next lecture. So today we have focused on the definition of transpiration. The definition of transpiration is the loss of water in the vapor form through the living tissue or through the stomata. Uh, there are the three different types of the transpiration: cuticular, lenticular, and the stomatal. Lenticular, it is through the bark where the epidermal stomata are replaced by the lenticell, so it is only 0.1%. Cuticular, it is on the upper epidermis of the leaf, so it is 10 to 20%. This cuticle is impervious to water, but then also there may be the cracks in the cuticle, and through that the 10 to 20% of transpiration takes place. Then the transpiration takes place through the stomata is the stomatal transpiration. So lenticular, cuticular, and stomatal, these three types of the transpirations are there. Then it is the most important devil in the life of the plant, or it is inevitable devil, because we cannot separate the transpiration from the plant. If there is excess transpiration, then it will cause the death, and if there is no transpiration, then also the plant will not survive. So it is the most important phenomenon in the plant's life. So I hope you got the points. So thank you very much.